Okay, y'all ready for this? What's going on? Xtina Harmsworth here for day number 1 of the Cash Queen 7-Figure Empires 3-day-long masterclass. Coming in hot for it. Super ecstatic to do another masterclass within the Cash Queen series. So we have a lot of brand new members that have joined in the last couple months, and I want to give a little bit of context before we rip into the content. And so if you're newer here, we started this private group a little bit after I had my youngest baby, Maeve, and we kicked it off with something called the Cash Queen Masterclass, where I was dialoguing, stepping into your next level wealth identity. And over the last year and a half, we've added to our content bank here to create a place where you can come in and just literally binge content that will fire you up, give you context for creating your wealth identity, your brand, your personal brand. We talk about everything from boundaries, personally, energetics and emotions, strategy for brand building, and almost every single month I drop another piece of content for you. So if you're newer to this space, I want to say welcome. And I hope that everyone who's already been in here, where are my OGs at? You can say OG in the comment if you're an original up in here. I hope that you'll help everyone else feel welcome in this space. Now, we do have a guide section that you can go to just binge content. And there's quite the vault in here, and it's geared toward women entrepreneurs. Now, there's stuff that's not really for entrepreneurs. Like if you're not an entrepreneur and you just want the emotions stuff, look for things like the Boundaries Masterclass. But this place, it's geared toward women entrepreneurs. And so we're going to bring a bigger conversation today into the context. It's something that I haven't discussed a whole lot because of my positioning in the industry, where I love to help people to get their initial 6 figures. That being said, today we're going to elevate the conversation. So we're kicking off this month's masterclass. It's going to be 3 full days, around 45 minutes to an hour each day, which is a little bit shorter than usual. Loving it. Love that for us. And we are going to go through 7 distinct personal habits, mindset shifts, and strategies that made the difference between 6-figure years and a 7-figure year in my brands. Are you guys game for this? Are you here for it? I'm going to be asking for participation. You're going to find that out about me. I love to dialogue. I love to feel the vibe of you guys in our space. And so I'm going to be asking for you to respond. Now, this gives me life. So if I ask you guys for a response and you start dialoguing and dropping emojis and being part of the conversation, you bring all of you to this, I'll bring all of me to this. The more you bring and the more I know that you're engaged with this content, the more I'm gonna give. If y'all are quiet, I mean, I'll cover my points that I came here with, but it's not gonna be as juicy as it could be. So if you're live and you are here to really get the distinction, the mindset, the personal habits, and the actual things I did, the strategies to elevate out of the 6-figure category annually and into the 7-figure category, I'm going to have you drop my favorite emoji right now. I'm going to have you give me some energy with some lightning bolts. Drop it in the comments. Let's kick it off with this and do it like you mean it. Do it like you think 7 figures could be on the line for you. I want you to bring your whole body into today. I want to bring your whole self into the room. Bring all of you into today's conversation, because this could be something that could shift your whole paradigm. So if you're live, I'm a little bit sweary, so I'm going to have you write, don't half-ass it. That was my Michigan accent. Don't half-ass this. Don't be halfway in. Don't be a little bit in the room. Don't half-ass this. Bring a notebook, because I'm going to ask you for something at the end. Take notes. Write some things down. Open your mind. Allow some things to shift today. Don't half-ass this one. This really matters. So if you can agree to that, give me some lightning bolts in the comments. I feel like I really want to kick this off. Now, we love swag. We love prizes. We love giveaways. And so we're going to be doing a drawing. I want to say we'll probably do it on Monday, which will give like the whole weekend for people to get the replays in, really catch the vibe of everything and interact. So there's one way that you can interact today. So if you're live right now, right today, share the graphic. Now, only if this feels aligned to you. If you're shy about sharing graphics, then don't do it. But if you want to be in the running, we have $1,000 in XMH mentorship money on the line for this. If you're someone who would love to win $1,000 prize, your name will go in the draw. So what you'll want to do is my team will drop the graphics for this 3-day masterclass. And if it feels aligned to you, you can share this to your stories. Make sure and tag me, whether it's on Instagram as at Xtina Harmsworth Empire, or whether it's here on Facebook. You can share it as a post here on Facebook and tag me. You can share it on Instagram as a post and tag me. Just make sure that you hit the tag so that my team can see it. So today, if you want your name in the draw, share the graphic about this. Tell your biz besties. Tell other women entrepreneurs, because what I bring to the space here, it's not the typical masterclass. There's a lot of people out there that just kind of like riff. They tell their life story and then they pitch to you. This is not a riff and pitch masterclass. I'm going to be doing what's called principle-based teaching. So whenever I do a masterclass like this, you can expect to learn something. So I have 7 principles. I have 7 different either mindset changes that I made, personal habits that I changed, or strategies that I opted myself into to create a 7-figure year after having 6. So you want to take notes today, because I'm going to be asking you for something at the end. You guys ready? Name in the draw by sharing the graphic. Bring a pen and a paper or your notes on your phone. Bring your whole self into the room. Bring your whole self into the experience, and tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, how are you feeling before we drop in? And by the way, I can't see comments, so I'm going to just while you're letting me know. Oh, a comment just kicked in. I saw Suzanne Hanley. There she be. Sometimes they don't pop up like right away. There you go. Okay, here they be. Okay, perfect. 9.9 says Suzanne. Haley said 9 today. Here for it. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay. Are you guys ready for number 1? Number 1 of 7, we're going to go through 3 different concepts today that can take a business from 6 to 7. Are you guys ready for number 1? If you are, right, give me number 1. Give me number 1. Give me number 1. Give me number 1. Oh my God. Haley said her baby graduated school tonight. I love that. Here's number 1. Piece number 1 in scaling from 6 to 7 figures is you need to be willing, number 1, to ace the strategies that give you continuous 6-figure outcomes. Number 1, you got to get 6 down before you get to 7. Now, I wrote a kind of in your face post already today, shared it to Facebook. It's got to go over to Instagram, where I just lovingly said what's present in the room right now. There's a lot of people out there that don't know what season their business is even in. there's a season to your first 6 figures. Would you guys agree with that? There are strategies that support you in building a personal brand to its first 6 figures. That is a building season. There are business habits that you have to have down to get to 6 figures and stay there. You might hear stories of people who get like a one-off success where they decide that they're going to sell a $10,000 mastermind, running out the gates, they sell 10 people into it, and then they don't have the habits in business after that mastermind is done to do it again. And they might not have the reputation left either. Going from 0 to high ticket doesn't always work. In my experience, and I've watched a ton of entrepreneurs, there are business development habits that you have to bring online to get to the first 6 figures and then compound and create momentum and get to multi-6. I'm going to give you an example of some of these. So if number 1 is you got to be willing to ace the things that take you to your first 6 figures, let me talk through what those are. Is it okay if I tell you what they are? Can I reveal to you the habits in business that take you to your initial 6 figures? This should be paid content. Can I reveal it? Let's go. 1, time management and planning for a year of success. That's number 1. 2, growing an audience. People get so hung up on performance and whether they're selling enough. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm building my brand. No one is buying anything. I'm making offers. They're not converting. And then they make that a statement about their worth. And what I want to say to this is money isn't the only metric when you're in the beginning stages of business. Money is a metric. It's not the metric. One of the biggest metrics when you're getting to that first 6 figures is audience growth. Are you consistently growing your audience and nurturing your audience and getting more people engaged with you? This is a huge metric to watch for and get encouraged by. When people start actually interacting with your content, you are on the up and up. This is a huge metric for you to look at. So we've got time management, planning a year for success is number 1. 2, audience growth. If you don't know how to grow an audience, I can help you. Trust. 3 is content creation. If you want to build a personal brand that eventually scales to 7 figures, you have to be up on content creation. Do you know how to make a reel? Do you know how to sell in stories? These are basics. People want to fly to 7 figures, and I'm like, you haven't got the 6-figure stuff down yet. Are you in the habit of creating content on a daily basis? So content creation, reels, stories, Instagram carousels. Do you know how to make a basic graphic? This is a 6-figure skill, not even a 7. Next up, offer suite creation. Once you've got eyes on your stuff and you're making content, people are engaging with it, you've got the skill on social media, do you have a place to send them to pay you? Do you have offers? Do you have a suite of offers? Do you have options for people when they raise their hand in your inbox or on your post and say, I think I'd like some help? Are you a deer in the headlights and you're like, what do I do? Or are you like, yeah, I've got like 4 different things. Tell me what's going on. I would advise you to grab this one. Offer suite. Do you have offers and links to send people to so that you can incur cash? Okay. Next up, do you know how to launch things? This is a basic. This is a 6-figure skill. Do you know how to do an organic social media launch? Basic. Sales acumen. Write it down. Write the word sales acumen. Sales acumen. Next up is leadership. Developing yourself to be a better boss, a better coach, a better mentor. Are you putting yourself in places to develop that gift in you? Wherever you're leading, are you in leadership development anywhere? When you've got all that stuff in place, then it's ready for scaling strategies. Write down scaling strategies. The thing people get frustrated with on the way to 7 figures is they jump into the marketplace and they ace 2 or 3 out of what I just listed. They never give themselves enough time to get a proven offer. A proven offer means people have bought this thing on repeat and it's been successful. That's a proven offer. People don't even give themselves the chance to create proven offers and then scale them. Once you know something is proven in business, then you can start building like the snowball effect around it and doing like other offers that are related to it. But until you have a proven offer, you don't have something to scale. All of this stuff that I'm talking about right now, this is in the under 6 figures business model. So write down, scale what's working or scale proven offers. And finally, emotional intelligence. I just listed off 1, time management, 2, audience growth, 3, content creation, 4, copywriting for sales, 5, offer suite creation, 6, launch strategies, 7, sales acumen or sales skills, 8, leadership, 9, scaling strategies for what's working, and 10, emotional intelligence to stay in the game and grow the thing. These are 10 things and they're basic to getting to 6 figures. These 10 things that I just listed, these are what it takes to get to 6 figures and hold. These 10 things are what it takes to get your initial 6 figures and maintain movement. Like with all the love in my heart, I feel like people are so down on themselves because they're like, I started my business and nothing is happening. I put my offers out there and no one is buying. And I'm like, you are literally at the starting line. Give yourself a whole year to get good at this stuff. Those 10 things are a full-time job. Developing into the kind of person that can do these 10 things in a brand, these 10 things will take you to 6 figures. And once you've got them, write this down, right? Once I've got it, I've got it. These 10 things that it takes to get to 6 figures, once you get them, you've got them for life. And you can literally build any company under the sun if you know these 10 things. To me, this is why it's worth it to spend a year being in a mastermind or in a program like Locked and Loaded and give yourself a year to get it. Because once you understand these 10 core pieces of business of building to 6 figures, you can build 6-figure brands for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter. Like, okay, say I know someone's watching live right now and she sells hair care products. What if her company, by chance, under no circumstances that I would want, but what if the company went under tomorrow? And she had to start fresh with a different type of product, a different type of service. Maybe she wants to make a course or coach people. Maybe she wants to stay in product retail. It wouldn't matter what happened with the business. The whole business can go under and fold. But because she has these 10 habits down and they've cultivated over time, over a year, she gave herself time to do it. She could sell anything for the rest of her life. Do you get this? Piece number 1, be willing to do the basic, certain things that certainly take you to 6 figures. You learn this skill, you know it for life. Do you get the power of that? This is what turns me on so much about learning strategy, because you might pay money on the front end to learn a strategy, but once you know it, you know it. And you can do it for the rest of your life. And build on it to make more. Understanding creating personal brand allows you to sell anything. Anything your little heart desires, if you have these 10 things down, you can sell anything. The power of a personal brand is, on a Monday, I can talk about hair care. On a Tuesday, I can sell a coaching program. On a Wednesday, I can invite people to a retreat, and it all makes sense because the brand is about me. I can sell whatever I want because I've got these 10 principles down. So number 1, because I'm going to walk you guys through 7 key things to taking a brand from 6 figures to 7. Number 1 is you've got to be willing to ace these 10 things that initially take you to 6 figures. If you won't ace what I just talked about, you can literally kiss the idea of 7 figures goodbye. And you might get lucky once or twice and hit the 6 figures, but it's not maintainable. It doesn't sustain. It doesn't build momentum if you don't have those 10 pieces down. Is it clicking for you guys? This is why I got these 10 pieces down and I turned it into something that feels like breathing, like clockwork for me. It's just what I do for a living. And I can literally I can sell anything for the rest of my life. If I wanted to, I could start a construction business. I could be in realty. I could sell tech. I could sell beauty. I could sell coaching. I could sell furniture. It doesn't matter because I know how to create brand. So on the way to 7 figures, thing number 1 is you've got to be willing to just ace on a continual basis the things that take you to 6 figures. Because if you can make 6, you can more than likely make 7, but you got to ace that number 1. Can somebody tell me one thing you took away from that? Please, my loves. I'm having so much fun just by the way. And oh yeah, everything that I just listed, those 10 steps, those 10 key certain things that it takes to 6 figures is exactly what we do in Locked and Loaded over a year. For a whole year, we focus on getting people the sustainable habits of an entrepreneur. I focus on this with people. Yes, I'm in the 7-figure category, but I love helping people crush it on the way to 6 and then make their next 6 that much faster and their next 6 that much smoother and their next 6 that much easier. I'm passionate about this. This is what we do in Locked and Loaded, just FYI. Okay. Are you guys ready for number 2? Principle 2. Principle-based teaching out here. If you're ready for 2, right, give me 2 in the comment section. Let's go. Second big standard that I changed, going from 6 to 7 figures, going from a 6-figure year, which now you guys know the keys to doing a 6-figure year. On the way from 6 to 7, I want to talk about what I did. So if you're ready for the next principle, that took me from 6 to 7, right? Give me 2. Piece number 2, write it down, is be willing to put yourself in bigger conversations. Now, I'm going to reveal something that I posted about earlier today. I kind of alluded to this. I made a real spicy little post because this is what I noticed. I noticed that people want to skip seasons. They want to skip steps. They want to go from, I'm making less than 6 figures and I want to do the steps that a millionaire is doing. And they are not willing to do step 1, which is just ace the basics to 6 figures. And in the last couple of years, I have watched about a dozen or so people that were a perfect fit for Locked and Loaded, learning the basics to get to their first 6 figures and then multiply that effect. People who were a perfect fit for that try to leapfrog into their next season, and they would hire my mentors. Now, this is not a statement about who you work with, because you guys have personal autonomy and you have your own choices in life. But I want to reveal something from behind the scenes. Would that be okay? Would you object to me being really honest? I told my team this morning that something I don't think people realize. When they watch my content, and then I've done thank you posts to my mentors, and I've said, you know, I really appreciate this, and this person. I've done posts where I tagged like 14 of my mentors. And a lot of my clients would go and follow those people. And then I would find out a month or 2 later that they had hired my coach or hired my mentor. And I would say, interesting. Their business isn't in the right season to hire that person. So I told my team today, there was a good stretch of time where I learned a lot of basics. I would say from 2013 to 2018, I was acing the basics. Count those years, guys. 2013 to 2018, it took me 5 years to ace the basics. One of the points of mentorship is that you crush the time delay. So instead of taking 5 years to ace the basics, people come into Locked and Loaded, which is my premier mastermind, and they learn the basics and they crush them in a year. Think about that. People get so obsessed with the time delay. And they want to jump so far ahead. And I'm like, guys, in 1 year in Locked and Loaded, you get what it took me 5 years to master. And I pulled it from this coach and this training and this free masterclass and this paid container and this live event and this weekend workshop. I pulled it from so many different places just to learn the basics of business because I couldn't find it all in one spot. The people that I tag in posts today or speak about behind the scenes, and I talk about, they're my mentors, the people who I started hiring in 2018. Yes, they're millionaire mentors. And guys, listen, I literally didn't hire my first millionaire mentor until I was like $300,000 years. I was already making $300,000 years by the time that I hired a millionaire coach. If you're not already acing the 6 figures but you're trying to leapfrog over somebody and be like, oh, like I'm going to use myself for example. Y'all probably watch me and you're like, oh, well, whoever she's mentoring with, I'm going to go get mentored by that person so that I can get the same results that Xtina gets. I didn't hire those people until I was at $300,000 years. I had aced the basics of brand first. And once I had aced the basics and they were like clockwork, and then I hired the people that I'm talking about today. So a mistake that people make is they're like, I'll just hire your mentor and I'll get your results. And I'm like, I had a lot of these results before I hired the mentor. You're not in the right season to hire this person. You don't have the basics down. Like, pardon my language, but you are going to fuck around and find out. You are going to get in these conversations with my mentors and be like, I don't know what they're talking about. Where's the strategy? I thought I was going to learn how to run my business. They don't teach that. That's not what they're teaching. I was ready for a bigger conversation because I had laid the groundwork. So this is the conversation I want to have. If you're not yet to consistent six figures, something that you've got to shift is getting yourself into bigger conversations on how to get to six figures. With personal brand is what we do in Locked and Loaded. So piece number 2 is be willing to get yourself in bigger conversations. So something like Locked and Loaded to get you to the business basics is going to set you up for the next bigger conversation, which is going to be things like the people that I've coached with. I've had now like 30 amazing mentors over the years. You see? So number 1, back to this again, master the basics. Get them like clockwork. Get professional at those 10 things that I mentioned. Do that in a place like Locked and Loaded. I literally don't know of anywhere else on the internet that teaches all of those things over the course of a year. I just don't. I haven't encountered it yet, and I know thousands of coaches. I don't know one single place that does all of it. So you want to master number 1. And 2, when you're ready to scale, you want to be able to get yourself into bigger conversations. So if you're not yet at 6 figures, a bigger conversation would be Locked and Loaded. If you're currently at 6 figures, you want to be working with a millionaire coach. So this is something that's pretty unique about what I do is I love getting people so fluent in the basics of 6 figures. And then on the other side, I'm currently scaling to 8. So inside of my spaces, it's pretty neat that you can have conversations where people are at the starting block in their business and they're getting really good business hygiene going right now. They're crushing it on social media. And then when they've got certain pieces in play, I can start laying down 7-figure strategy for them behind the scenes. So having a bigger conversation that you can grow into is super clutch. Being able to get the basics down and then also put yourself in a bigger conversation saying like, okay, so now that I've built this and I'm at 6 figures, one of my clients just had a 6-figure day, right? So I have clients that are doing big things and now they're ready for the next move. Hiring. Other conversations. Retreats, live events. It's a different conversation. So piece number 2 is you want to put yourself in bigger conversations, but make sure that they are season appropriate. So write this down for me. Bigger conversations that are right for my season. Don't be at less than 10K months and think if I go hire someone that, is coaching my coach, I'm going to crush it. You can't skip the season. I've never met a single person who could skip 6 figures on the way to 7. I don't know them. And I know thousands of coaches. Is this landing? Get in bigger conversations that are right for your season. What else that I want to say about the bigger conversations is this. When I say bigger conversations, I specifically mean masterminds. So write this down, masterminds. Masterminds and live events. Here's why. Mentorship is a continuous feedback loop. Mentorship is a continuous feedback loop. It's insane being in a mastermind. You will hear ideas, strategies. You will see people in certain emotional responses, and you'll hear about needs and gaps in the marketplace that you had no idea existed. When I was making my first, I would say less than 20K months, I would say like 0 to 30K months, I was in a certain bubble of conversations. And mostly what I was creating to sell online, I was just fulfilling the needs of the people in that little bubble. Some of you are like this right now. You're in a bubble of people that say that they can't afford your products. They would never afford your services. They're triggered or activated by the money that you're making. They would just never pay for that. They act like what you're asking is just astronomical, and how dare you? Because that's the bubble that you're in. I was in that bubble too, and I shaped a lot of my pricing incorrectly based on the bubble of people that I was around who were obsessed with being debt-free and like budgeting. I had to get myself into a bigger conversation. So after about 5 years of building brand with this like glass ceiling on what I thought people would pay me and what I thought that they were available for, I got myself into a bigger conversation, and I was already making multi-six-figure years. I finally hired someone a lot like me. The me of today. It was someone who had made multi-millions already in sales. She had systems, structures, a lot of ideas in business. She could help me with my copywriting, my offers, my confidence, my presence, social media, launching, pitching, live events. And the conversation was so different. She was like, "Are you insane? What are you charging?" I was charging what I thought people would pay me. And she was like, "You are sitting on a $10,000 offer that you can teach in your sleep. What are you doing?" She said, "With all due respect, I need you to stop peddling lipsticks." You have a whole consultancy sitting inside of your chest. You're a gold mine. What are you doing? And I was like, people pay for that? It was a feedback loop. Thanks, Maureen. It was a feedback loop. I didn't realize people would pay the kind of money that she was telling me to charge, but that's because she was in a bigger conversation. She was in a conversation with other people that were as wealthy as she was. She was in conversation with clients who were already selling what I'm selling. She was like, "What are you talking about? I have evidence that you can sell this, and it converts and it works, and you're going to help a lot of people. What are you doing?" Then being in a mastermind, my first go at this was in 2019 early. I had never been in a mastermind. 2019 was my first mastermind. I paid $16,000 to get myself into a bigger conversation. I was terrified. I had put that money away to buy a house. It was my down payment for my house. And I wired it to a stranger. I could cry talking about that. It was just such a crazy thing. And I don't regret it for a moment. But then being in that mastermind, I heard all these people talking, and they all had a need for what I offered. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa, like this is a feedback loop. I'm not only learning from my mentor, but I'm learning from all my peers, and I'm gathering evidence that there is a huge gap in the industry for exactly what I do. I was at the beginning of teaching people social media, and I had been making makeup videos forever, so I was super comfortable being on camera just like this. I got into this mastermind with a bunch of women who had never done a Facebook Live before. They didn't know how to write copy. They weren't good at sales scripting. They didn't feel comfortable on camera. And I was like, oh my God, what I teach is exactly what they need. And they have paid for a $16,000 mastermind and a retreat. So obviously this matters. The feedback was tremendous. It increased my confidence. I have a gut feeling that a bunch of you are just in smaller conversations. Like the energy of the conversations around you are compressed. They mess with your confidence. They mess with your desire to sell. They mess with your ability to price. They mess with your self-trust. And it's time for you to get into a bigger conversation where people are available for talking about money, wealth, return on investments. You got to get in a bigger conversation to get the feedback loop. It increases your confidence. So piece number 2 is bigger conversations. Getting yourself in VIP conversations. Getting yourself in a feedback loop that increases your confidence about your pricing and your offers. Getting yourself in conversations where you get to see the needs in the industry from people who actually buy. I'm going to say something else really cool about being in a mastermind. Is that okay? Can I tell you one of my favorite things that happened for me in a mastermind? Because I've now been in a bunch of them. I was just telling you my experience in the first one. After joining several different high ticket masterminds, all of them anywhere from like 100, let me see, like lowest ticket was like $16K, highest ticket being over $100,000. I got to hear what people are like behind the screen. And I heard needs at super high ticket price points that I would have never known existed. I would go into someone else's mastermind and the leader of the mastermind would have a need that I could fill. And I was like, whoa, I should be charging way more and I should create a program out of this. What am I doing? There's a gap in the market that makes sense to fill, and I would have never known if I wasn't around people who think big and invest big. I also got to find out that the things that I thought were hard or that I was struggling with, people that are way ahead of me were struggling with the exact same things. And the pretty pictures that they were painting on social media about their lives weren't necessarily the case. It was the great equalizer for me. I found my power in a mastermind. It was one of the best things that I've ever done was get into higher end conversations. So that's piece number 2. Are you guys ready for piece number 3? Ready? If you're ready for it, write 3. Give me 3. And just by the way, if you're just joining us, over the next 3 days, I'm going to be walking you guys through 7 things that I changed in terms of mindset, in terms of personal habits, and in terms of strategy that took our brand from 6 figures to 7. So we're on 3 right now, okay? Piece number 3 that took my brand from 6 figures to 7 is VIP in-person experiences. From 6 to 7, VIP in-person experiences. There's an emotional and psychological disconnect when someone tells you to sell high ticket and you have not experienced high ticket. I'm going to say that again. Because in order for you to make $1 million, you have to sell a certain amount of things, right? So you could sell 10 $100,000 packages. Think about that. So you can have 10 clients at $100,000, and some of you guys, your brains just broke, right? Or you could have several hundred clients at like a $2,000 or $3,000 price tag, and that's still kind of VIP. Or you could sell 1 billion small offers, which is really freaking, in my opinion, a lot of work. I don't love it. So for you to get to $1 million in your personal brand, at some level, you're probably going to be selling some high ticket. Can we agree? If you can agree that you're probably going to sell something high ticket on the way to $1 million, right? Makes sense. The math has to math. Where's the million going to come from? Where's a $500,000 going to come from? If you're selling $26 lipsticks, that's a lot of lipsticks. You're going to have to create bigger packages and get confident selling bigger things. Bigger real estate, bigger product packages, etc. Okay? There's a disconnect though for people who are selling high ticket. They have a psychological and emotional disconnection if they have never experienced high ticket. Case in point, we're doing a live event, Clear to Soar, this summer in August. And the gentleman who was selling us our rooms and our spaces works in the basement, or like some hidden, dark, gloomy office. He said he was selling suites, like selling the presidential suite in a hotel, executive suites in a hotel, the Georgia suite in the hotel, elevated rooms that go for thousands of dollars a night, and no one ever toured him through them. Not only had he never stayed in one, he didn't even know what they looked like. He didn't know what he was selling. How many of you guys know that sales is emotional? And part of the reason that people buy is because they get an emotional connection to what you're saying when you describe the thing. So this poor guy had never even seen what he was selling to us with the rooms. And then when we met him in person, we then went and toured the rooms, and he was like, yeah, like they finally showed me everything I asked for a tour. And I was like, if he would have experienced either staying a night in one of those suites, or if he had had a grand tour and had a luncheon in one of them, like as a teammate on that team, and he could tell you, you know, I've been in this room and just the quality of the fabric on the bed, every single room has its own refrigerator. So if you have food sensitivities, or you're nursing and have to pump, or, you know, any reason that you might want to, you know, put something on ice, champagne, you have your own private refrigerator. The linens feel just crisp. They're just right. You know, you have your own dedicated desk in the room for your content creation. It faces this incredible view of the city. The windows are floor to ceiling. I've been up there at night and in the morning in the middle of a rainstorm, and the clouds were going by the window. You're up so high, one of the most iconic views of the entire city of Georgia. And whether it's sunny or it's rainy, the view is impeccable. You just can't go wrong. If he would have been able to explain it to me and sell it to me because he had experienced it, my sales conversion would have been right there. And something is happening for a handful of you who are getting coached on sales, and people are telling you, raise your prices, sell high ticket. But you've never experienced a VIP experience before. You don't know what a VIP experience at high ticket is even supposed to feel like. So you're like, how do I sell that? How do I even conduct that? How do I sell a high ticket mastermind when I have never been in one? What is the expectation? How do you host a retreat if you've never been to high-end retreats? How do you put on your own conference and speak on stage if you haven't gone and seen the inner workings of a conference and felt the room? Is this clicking? You can't sell what you don't know. You can't sell luxury VIP and really fulfill on it and keep your reputation intact if you don't know what luxury VIP is. You can't offer a high-end mastermind or high-end services or just throw together a $10,000 package if you've never bought a $10,000 package and experienced the level, the standard. Now, I shouldn't say you can't, because there's a lot of people in the industry doing it. And right now, our industry, the self-development and the coaching industry, it's in the middle of a big cleanup. Because there was a season in the coaching and self-development space and the mentorship world where people were just slapping a high price tag on little to no service. And it's given the industry a weird feeling. And a lot of people have figured out who's who, and there's kind of a shakeup, and those of us who are doing the damn thing are all surviving, really thriving. But there's a cleanup right now because there's an emotional disconnect if you haven't experienced VIP, but then you try to sell VIP and fulfill VIP. Are you guys tracking? Now, I want to say something about in-person experiences. For us, we made over $150,000 on retreats last year. So a part of our 7-figure story last year, we did over 6 figures in people buying retreats from us. So over 10% of last year's revenue was in-person retreats. Now, me personally, I've been to more than 100 conferences, okay, retreats, business getaways, exclusive rooms. I've been to over 100. I understand what I'm selling because I've experienced it all. If you're someone who knows that you want to scale to 7 figures and that conferences, speaking on stage, and hosting retreats or VIP days is in your future, it's really smart as a business move to put yourself in those so that you can understand what they're supposed to feel like. And even if you never mean to put on your own conference or your own retreat, you being a VIP in a room changes your energy because now you understand what you're selling when you sell high ticket. There's something that you experience emotionally and spiritually by being in a room and having that big transaction and having it fulfilled and having transformation. It's gonna raise your standard and raise your bar on your own deliverables with your brand. You actually raise your standard by receiving. Write this down. I raise my standard by receiving. Piece number 3 is in-person and VIP experiences. As part of my own business development, I learned how to hold these events by attending about 100. So for you to attend one is really helpful. Super helpful in-person events. Now, another really, I'm going to close out this point 3, in-person experience, by saying this. There is a person that you are behind the camera, and there's a person that entrepreneurs are behind the camera. And there's another level to them in person. Now, this was so weird for me to experience, having been to like over 100 conferences, a lot of business conferences. I have tremendous soft skills. I came from the hospitality industry. I went to a conference last year, I was asked in part to MC. I was sponsoring the conference. I was then asked in part to MC, which is a really radical experience. And at this multi-day event, I met a bunch of my peers that I was in a mastermind with. A bunch of women from the super high level coaching industry, millionaire coaches. And we had been talking for like a year, and I got to meet them for the first time. And it was almost jolting for me because the feeling in the room with that person didn't match what I had experienced online. There is an interpersonal disconnect. Have you guys experienced this before? Raise of hands in the comments or tell me, like, yes, I've experienced this, where you have a feeling about what someone is going to be like because you know them online. And then you meet them in person and there's an interpersonal disconnect. Their body language is weird. They don't hug you or they don't shake your hand. It's like a weird, like, what's happening? This isn't the warmth that I thought it was. This isn't the level, the standard. This isn't the vernacular. There's something very wrong here. I experienced that. So I went to a conference last year in August, and I think the pandemic did a lot of this for us because we were separated from each other. And a lot of entrepreneurs lost their soft skills. A lot of entrepreneurs are just out of practice. Walking up to someone and shaking their hand or greeting someone with a really warm hello because you've been talking for a while and closing the interpersonal gap. If you're live right now, close the interpersonal gap. Like, don't be weird. But you only get that by putting yourself in these rooms. You get practice of networking by networking. So standard number 3 in going from 6 figures to 7 is closing the interpersonal gap by being at VIP live in-person events. You want to be in the room. You want to experience the people. You want to hear their needs. You want to elevate your soft skills. You want to get comfortable shaking hands or giving a hug. You want to get comfortable introducing yourself. A lot of people can introduce themselves on an app and say, "Hi, I'm Carrie Ann. I am a mindset and business negotiation expert. I help large corporations to do XYZ." And then you meet them in person and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm Kelly." You're like, this is not the feeling, but it's a practice. Somebody write, it's a practice. So for me, skill number 3, going from 6 figures to 7, was putting myself into VIP spaces and honing my interpersonal skills. Getting good at shaking hands, giving a hug, smiling at people, walking around the room and introducing myself to strangers. Because if you can do it in person, you can certainly do it on the internet. It's like an infinity loop. What you do on the internet, you want to be able to do in person. And if you can do it in person, you can certainly do it on the internet. So you want to go to in-person experiences so that you can feel the luxury of a VIP experience. And if you can feel it, you know it, it's in the body, and you can sell one. You get the standard. You've been there. You can sell what you know. You can sell luxury VIP when you've been luxury VIP. Your context elevates being in a room like that. Your soft skills elevate being in a room like that. You get better at your confidence by being in a room like that. So, signature number 3, the standard number 3 is going to in-person experiences. So, those are our 3 for today. Over the course of the next 3 days, I'm going to walk you through 7 things that I did in our brand to go from 6 figures to 7. And I've never taught this before, so I'm really excited to bring this conversation. Now, there's 3 things that you should know. Number 1, we're going to be back here tomorrow at 4:15 and again on Friday at 4:15 to continue the conversation. We have a badass giveaway for you guys. If it feels aligned to you and you want to share the graphic your name will go into the draw for $1,000, so $1,000 in XMH mentorship money. So we'll be back here tomorrow. If you want your name in the giveaway, share the graphic and tag me. And here's the third thing that I want you to know. Each day I'm going to be making limited time offers. So if you're live, write limited time offers. These are going to be exclusive to while this masterclass is running. At the end of the masterclass on Friday, they're done. So I'm going to be telling you about ways that we can work together. And I'll always let you know before I present offers, just out of respect for people that are either already in my world, they don't feel like buying, etc. I'm here for consent, but I'm going to make some limited time offers. So I'm going to announce today's offer. And there are people that are ready for this. They've been in my world for a while. You already know that I'm the one. You already know that we're a match. And so if it feels right, just know that these are good until Friday at the end. Okay? So offer number one is we have locked and loaded. You've heard me kind of traverse this topic with our point number one, the basics of business that build you from 6 figures to 7, but you got to master those basics. Over the course of the year, I walk our clients through 10 basic things. They're certain things that take you to your initial 6 figures and make the next 6 and the next 6 and the next 6 like clockwork. This is the Locked and Loaded program. When you get Locked and Loaded, you're getting an instant access to my vault of content that's going to get you started on your journey. You also have a year-long pass to all paid programs that I launch. The value of just the programs in themselves far, far exceeds the cost of what I'm about to say. With Locked and Loaded, one of the best features to me is the mastermind. So if you're looking for a place to dialogue and get laser coached, that is part of Locked and Loaded with me. If you're looking for mentorship with me this year, I do not have private mentorship available. You'll get it inside of Locked and Loaded. That's the space. Now, Locked and Loaded on its own, it retails for either $2,222 per month for a 12-month commitment or $22K paid in full. So if you're live right now, can you write it's $22K PIF, $22K paid in full. That's Locked and Loaded. Or the monthly payment option, which is $2,222. This masterclass only, we have something insane. We've never done this before. This is exclusive to this masterclass. Are you guys ready for it? Here it is. For those of you who just, you know Locked and Loaded is your thing. We're adding 2 bonuses for those who pay in full in the next 3 days. The first one is worth $12,000. Everyone who does the paid in full option during this masterclass is getting a VIP day with me. A full day VIP mastermind where I'm going to do case studies on each of you. We're going to go through your personal brand. I'm going to make personalized recommendations to each of you around building out your brand, your offers, your pricing, everything to give you an instant head start on Locked and Loaded. Value of that is $12,000. And you just get it if you pay in full. The second bonus is that with your pay in full for Locked and Loaded, you're also getting the VIP ticket to Clear to Soar this summer, our in-person event. VIP ticket is going to give you front seating, swag bag, luncheons with me and my team each day. It's a situation. So the total value of this entire thing is $37,000. You're getting it for $22K. So that's our limited time offer for today. If you know that it's for you, I only have a certain amount of these that I want to give out. So make sure and reach out to my team immediately. If you're someone who wants this, but you're like, I don't know exactly how I'm going to swing it. Here's the thing. Our team can invoice you. And with an invoice, it's going to allow you to split it between cards or pay from different accounts. I've certainly done that over the years with the different the different things that I've been in. So don't be shy to ask. We can invoice you, you can split it between cards, or you can elect to do monthly payments at $2,222 per month. That's $2,222 per month for a strict 12 months. If you elect to do the payment plan, you'll still get a ticket to Clear to Soar. So that's the vibe. If you know it's for you, reach out to the team. If you're still on the fence, hang out with us tomorrow. I've got a lot more for you over the next couple days, including we're going to do a live Q&A on Friday. So hang with us, share the graphic, mull it over, breathe, think about it if you need to think about it. If not, DM my team, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 4:15 Eastern. Thanks so much for being here. I got a whole bunch more for you tomorrow.